exhilarating because you actually know where you're going and you're no longer stifled by hesitation. Like once you're just like, this is what I'm going to do, it's the most amazing feeling when you actually have a path, right? So think about your role as leaders, whatever role that you're in, and the specifics actually don't even matter, right? It's just a state of mind. It's, I'm in this role and I'm a part of this organization and I am truly committed to all of it, not just my specific role. And I really don't know the logistics here, so please don't mind. I don't know how it goes here, but just think about commitment as who you are in that role. Is it 50%? Is it 20%? Is it 100%? And it's a choice. So take some time now to just write down, what does commitment mean to you? When someone is committed, what does that look like? What do you expect from others or from yourself if they or you say they're committed to something? So what does it look like for you guys when someone says they're committed? I actually want you guys to let me know. I'm actually interested to know, like, when someone says they're committed, what does that look like? What do you expect from that person?
Involvement.
Involvement? Okay.
Fully engaged.
Fully engaged.
Focused.
Focused. Anything? They show up? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, just, and not just like showing up like, yeah, I'm totally committed. Just hold on a second, right? Like when I think of showing up, I think like I am here. I am totally with you. And my phone vibrated before, so I'm sorry. Yeah. So, Karen, how about you? What does it mean when someone is? I'm good to love. I can totally put her on the spot. What does it mean for you when someone is like totally committed?
I think I'll piggyback on all of those comments and just say that somebody's really passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah. Thanks. Anyone else?
Sincerity.
Sincerity. And what's it like to be in the presence of someone who's committed? It's like, it's this energy, right? It's just, you don't even need to do anything, you just want to be around them. So what does it look like for you? Take a look at your own life, right? And it doesn't have to be just within the junior league. Think about in your own personal life, in your jobs, with your kids, with your families. How did you know when you were committed? What did that feel like for you? Does anyone, please tell me someone here has been committed. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I love that. Yeah, there's just no reason to stop because you're so driven by the commitment. Yeah.
It's full of energy.
Yeah. I was, as a newlywed, it was really hard the first 3 months, right, babe? It was really hard. It was really hard. I moved here, I was married, I didn't know what to do, and I just know what it means like for me to be committed, at least as a wife, is I'm gonna make it work. It's a job. Sorry. It is. But you know, not just like 9 to 5, but it's and all the time, like constantly just committed to him and our relationship and just making it work. And it's not about, I learned this from an old mentor, it's not about being right, it's about making it right. Right? So think about your own role here in the junior league. Where are you trying to be right? And what would it look like if you were just making it right? I always try to be right with him, so it's actually pretty bad that he asked me maybe I'm saying this. Just kidding. But really, as you know, I know that when I'm fully committed, there's no ego involved. And I know what it feels like because I'm not protecting. Right? Like I'm not trying to protect myself for fear of whatever. I'm just totally embraced in the moment and just full of love. And it's not about being right. We want to make it work. Thanks for being such a good sport, babe. So, what are you guys truly committed to in your life? I always say that when I work with people, like leaders in organizations, they're like, I don't need to talk about my personal life. I go, guess what? Who you are in the bedroom is who you are in the boardroom. Right? You can't separate those two, right? So think about who you are in your personal life and how does that translate into your role and your commitment within the junior league. So just take a couple of moments to jot that down. You know, what are you truly committed to in your life? And just see how that translates to your commitment within the junior league. So if we go back and we look at your purpose and your motivation for getting involved and giving to your community, are your commitments in alignment with your purpose? Are there areas where you need to step up, to fully commit, and be most effective? What would it look like if there was no, trying to be right, and there was just, let's just make it right, because we're all one, right? I know that you guys have different committees, right? But imagine if it wasn't, you still have leadership roles within each committee, but imagine if you guys were just one, and you weren't just separate units. I'm sorry if I don't know if that's how it works, but just that kind of mentality of oneness, like we may have different committees, and I know that you were Director of Community Action, and there's another director of this, but imagine if it was really just all one, we're all playing on the same team, we just have different roles. When I talk to my team, I have a team of like 18 coaches that we were in training together, and I noticed that with us, some of us were the superstars. I was a superstar. I'm so humble also, didn't you guys know that? So you have the superstars, you have the people on the bench, you have the fans, you have the, the cheerleaders, and you have the coaches, cheering them on. And that's great because, everyone does have their own individual roles, but imagine if we were all the superstars. Or imagine if, even if you were on the support side, being the most amazing supporter that you could be, right? It's not about fighting for who's better or whatever, it's just making it work. It's like an organism, just making it work. You're all individual parts of one big organism. When you look at the expectations you have of others and yourself when committed, are you acting on your commitment? Are you living your own definition of what it means to be committed to something? And these are just questions to look at. I remember when I was actually writing this. It sounds harsh. This is not a place to make yourself wrong. There's nothing wrong. You guys are actually all perfect and amazing. There's nothing wrong here. It's just a place to look. It's just a place to see where there's a gap and doing something about it. So it's that insight plus that action to equal amazing results. So let's take all of this that we've spoken about and turn it into leadership in action. So what is leadership? I have a few quotes, so here are a few thoughts. And this was said by John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. So I would assert that the communities that you work with, you guys work with young children and stuff, right? So just think about the impact that you have on those communities, on the children, or on the families. Are your actions inspiring them to dream, learn, do more, and become more? The second quote that I have is by Kenneth Blanchard. And it's the key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. And the third quote is by Peter Drucker. And he says, the leaders who work most effectively, it seems to be, never say I. And that's not because they've trained themselves not to say I. They don't even think I. They think we. They think team. They understand their job is to make the team function. They accept responsibility and don't sidestep it. But we gets the credit. This is what creates trust and what enables you to get the task done. I actually laughed out loud to myself just now as I was reading this because I remember one of the last things my dad told me, right before we got married. I used I a lot, and he said, it's not me anymore, it's we, and it's not I anymore, it's us. So it's totally made a difference just in relationship, right? And so you could see that even in relationship with my husband, it's no different than how you guys relate to each other. Whether I'm saying I or we, it totally changes the dynamic. So just think about when you're relating to your different committees here, how are you relating to the team that you're on, or just everyone within the junior league? Is it just I, or is it we, and is it us? So a key part of leadership is responsibility, as we heard in that last quote from Peter Drucker. So responsibility. Here are my thoughts on responsibility. I used to think that responsibility was about